College football semifinals time here, Kyle. Check this out. Cincinnati, the Bearcats, and yes, they deserve to be at least in the running for the national championship, going up against the Alabama Crimson Tide, setting the table for this one. We've seen, Kyle, as high as 14.5s out there, but we are looking now at 13.5s, below 2 touchdowns now for the Bearcats over on this game at 57.5. This is going to be one of 2 ways for me, Kyle, honestly. Either we think that Cincinnati should not be in the college football playoff and Alabama obliterates them, or Cincinnati is going to be in this right down to the wire. I've watched a lot of college football. Will you try to root for maybe Cincinnati? Hey, the little engine that could technically, the non-Power 5 school going up against the Blue Bloods here of the Power 5s. I just don't see it. And I don't want to be watching this game called late third quarter and be like, it's 35-6. What did I think was going to happen if you give Alabama and Nick Saban a few weeks to prepare for your football team? I got to go Alabama here. It's under 13.5. Excuse me, it's 13.5, so it's under the 14, Kyle. It's the only way I can look here.
Yeah, I mean, I tend to agree with you. We've seen it a lot. But then, I've been pretty wishy-washy on this. Most of the time, I'm feeling like Alabama will probably get it done against a smaller school. We've seen this script play out over and over again. But you know what? I went back and just watched I don't watch a ton of college football. I'm pretty busy on Saturdays. I went back and watched just a few games. They looked impressive against Georgia. Don't get me wrong. Bryce Young, I mean, they were absolutely impressive. And there was a lot of missed coverages and bad coverages by Georgia in that game. But you look at that Auburn game. Alabama had no business winning that game. You look at the Arkansas game, much closer than it should be. What would the line be if it's Cincinnati-Auburn or Cincinnati-Arkansas? Cincinnati would be heavily favored. Cincinnati, top 10 in both offense and defense in the country. I know some of that has to do with their easier schedule. But I got to tell you, as I'm sitting here, my final thought, I think Cincinnati keeps this close, has an outside shot to win. I might, just to make it a little more interesting, if I'm even allowed to watch this game, I'll have to ask the old ball and chain if I'm even allowed to watch this game due to the wonderful scheduling of college football. But I think Cincinnati covers here, and I might even do a little sprinkle on the money line and just really get into Bearcat mode, order me a jersey. I think Cincinnati is better than Auburn, better than Arkansas, and better than a lot of these teams that we saw Alabama struggle with. They may be getting overvalued just a little bit because of how convincingly they beat Georgia. Georgia was not on their game that day, and that secondary was terrible. I'm going to take Cincinnati.
And they do have a pedigree win. I mean, let's not forget, they went into Notre Dame and beat Notre Dame and beat them rather convincingly. It wasn't like, they got lucky on 3 fumbles. No. They were the better football team in that game. It's just going to be interesting to see how Alabama, and again, as I said, either this is going to be very competitive, Kyle, or it's going to be a blowout here. 57.5. I don't have much of a feel on the total itself, but also let's look into the future of this game, right? Next year, when a Power 5 team goes undefeated, they're going to weigh, and they're not supposed to. It's supposed to be a year-to-year thing. You should not have next year, let's just say SMU runs the table and looks sensational. Well, hey, Cincinnati got beat by 42 points in the college football semifinal. You can't put another Power 5 in, but that will go a long way. If Cincinnati hangs around and or beats Alabama, Power 5s will be rejoicing next year. It should be a fun New Year Eve party in Cincinnati if they do win this game, or even keep it close for the bettors there.